So, we at day one. The Alicia Andrews trial. The alleged Julio Foolio killer. And things are getting very, very, very shaky for her. We're going to continue with the prosecutor, and I want y'all to check out how he destroys the defense case. Listen to the details. Listen to what you remember from what the defense says, that she doesn't know anything. And then focus on how the prosecutor destroys her. Check it out.
That was confusing. That was beguiling to law enforcement, at least in the beginning, until they started obtaining the video that you've just seen. So how does
the double mint twins
conspiracy unfold? How does all of this start? It starts with Charles Jones, Julio Foolio. You see his name on the top of this post on IG, putting out on his IG account this advertisement for June 22nd, which was a Saturday. The murders happened in the early morning hours of the 23rd, going into Sunday morning. And you see Mr. Jones in the middle, advertising he's going to be appearing, Julio Foolio, at Teasers on North Nebraska in Tampa, hosted by Kenny K. And he puts at the bottom, my Airbnb pool party, June 21st. And that's when he arrived here. He and party goers arrived here that Friday. They had rented an Airbnb in Holiday in Pasco County. And they ended up on Saturday night leaving the Airbnb because he had started sending out, telling people, send me messages and I'll message you back with the address. And so many people appeared that eventually the owner of the Airbnb pulled the plug and told them to get out.
That night, I don't know what was on Julio's brain, but he was just willy-nilly with everything. Imagine you being a superstar. He's damn near a superstar rapper in Florida, and he's just sending his address out saying, yo, just come party with me. But this prosecutor right here is very serious. Very serious. And when you get prosecutors like this that, they really don't smile. They just all about the work. You could tell this man is all about the work. Alicia, Andrews, she got some praying to do.
But you see down here at the bottom, my official birthday party, June 22nd at Club Teasers, and gives the address. So he is making it very well known when he puts this promotion out, where he's going to be, what address he's going to be at, and when he's going to be there. This is another flyer that he put up. 8 p.m. to 3 a.m., June 22nd at Teasers. He even puts a photograph here of Tampa. My Airbnb pool party. DM me for address. And my official birthday party at Club Teasers gives the address again. So he's advertising his whereabouts. He's advertising his whereabouts. Now, Miss Andrews, the defendant, sitting right over here at counsel's table, this is a message that she sends, and you see on the top there.
He didn't have to point it out like that now. Come on, we all know she's the defendant. He's like, her right there sitting at the table. We know it's her. We know you about to give her life, but she just don't know that yet.
Oh, that's red. That is her Instagram account. You will find that. You can see on the top right her registered email to that account, verified Alicia Andrews 72 at yahoo.com. She sends that this message on June 21st. That's Friday at 10:52 UTC. That's early morning the 22nd, or earlier that day. Sorry. UTC, if you're not aware of that, is Universal Time Code. It's Greenwich Mean Time. So you got to back up 4 hours. So she's sending that on the Friday night. Hey, could I book a B&B in Tampa? This is 2 days before the murder. To a Kiera Axe Marie. Hey, what's dates you need? Tomorrow, but what day do you have available? How many bedrooms? Like 2. Logistics. This is the beginning. She's trying.
Y'all don't see that he matched up the date that Julio Foolio did the flyer, or he made the flyer for the party. The same date that we made that flyer, she called for an Airbnb and asked, can I get a room? Just so happened it's the day of the party, and she called the Airbnb the same day the flyer came out.
To find lodging. Trying to find lodging for this operation.
It kind of was an operation. It was like Call of Duty. Them dudes was, they was in a video game, and yeah, they was playing to win.
Now, a few moments later, a screenshot of an Airbnb message is documented. The message is addressed to Rashad Murphy, confirms his reservation at Lagoon Oasis 9703 Gazebo Pond in Tampa, June 22nd to June 24. And in the message of that message there from the owner of the Airbnb, our HOA requires for security purposes that all guests booking with us provide a valid ID, which he obliges and sends his valid ID. Now we go to the 20.
The whole time they was at the Airbnb, they only showed Alicia, right? All the guys went through the back. But what's the point of that when you had to show your ID in order to get the Airbnb? What's the point of going through the back door? They know that you're there. You had to show your state ID, bro. Idiots.
22nd. This is the Saturday. Earlier in the day, before Julio Foolio is going to start appearing at clubs in Tampa. This is the residence of Sean Gaithright, one of the conspirators. That is Mr. Gaithright walking out with a large duffel bag. And
suburban boys. I know suburban boys when I see these are suburban boys. They got a little taste of the hood. Maybe they visited their cousin or something. They went to a barbecue in Jacksonville. These are suburban boys. Look at the house. Look at the driveway. Look at the space. Look at the cars. And they planned a murder.
Isaiah Chance walking out with bags. And you'll see they start loading that black car, which is a Chevy Impala. That is the car that goes north in the hotel complex. That is the car transporting the assault team. And they load the bags into the trunk. That BMW on the top of the video there is being driven by Mr. Chance. And you see him bringing out another large bag. They're kitting up, and they're getting their gear into their transports. You'll see in the evidence that Mr. Chance ends up leaving in that Beamer. He drives and picks up his girlfriend, this defendant, Alicia Andrews, and brings her back to this residence. And then the three of them, Miss Andrews, Mr. Chance, and Mr. Gaithright, get in.
She looking at the prosecutor like, how did you know? Like, how did you get all that information? How? Look, she is nothing she could do. Look at her face. She knows that she's guilty. She has the face of a guilty person. Life.
Into that Impala, and they drive here to Tampa, and they drive to the Airbnb, and there will be zero doubt about all of that, because that Impala, while it's en route, is being picked up on license plate readers. You will see in the evidence. Their cell phones are tracking, hitting cell towers as they travel in unison all the way down to I-75, coming across from Jacksonville and heading directly into Tampa. When he comes back, Mr. Chance brings his contribution to the assault team. The Glock pistol with the extended magazine. He tucks it into his waistband. You can see the extended magazine sticking out in the trigger guard and the slide and the dust cover of the pistol. Just a more close-up photo of it. And you can see it bulging out of the right side of his warm-up pants he's wearing. So these three, Chance, Gaithright, and the defendant, get in that Impala. And they drive. You'll find in the evidence that Gaithright in the middle and Chance, the defendant's boyfriend, are very tight. They were close friends. Mr. Chance calls Mr. Gaithright his little brother. And you'll see in the video when they are loading up, you'll see more video during this trial of Mr. Chance putting in the codes on the front door of the house that Mr. Gaithright lives at. Now, the second car, the one that I pointed out to you, the surveillance vehicle. This is a Chevy Cruze. This car is also picked up on license plate readers after law enforcement determined its involvement in this case. They go back and they find it. And if you can see in the lower left-hand corner, 7:46 p.m., June 22nd, it's on Bruce B. Downs at Tampa Palms, getting real close to where their Airbnb is. And by the way, the Airbnb they book is 1.3 miles from the murder scene. You will see in the evidence that the LPR, the license plate recognition systems that are picking up these two vehicles, show them traveling in
Technology. Technology. You can't outbeat technology. Why are you driving your mama car? Like, why? Who told you to do that? Huh? What you be eating? What have you been eating? Dummy chips?
in unison, hitting on the same license plate readers at the same time, at the same locations as they travel from Jacksonville. That car was obtained by Rashad Murphy outside of the circle of ATK 1200. It was specifically located and utilized in this case as a car that would not be recognized. Now, this is the LPRs for that car, the Chevy Cruze. You can see it hitting where it hits Dolphin Drive. That's the day before in Jacksonville. On the 22nd at 6:01, Highway 441. At 1809, Highway 326, it's traveling through Gainesville. And then at 1947, 7:47 p.m., Bruce B. Downs, Tampa Palms Road, and then at 0342 Hillsborough, and then we get into the surveillance.
Wait, I gotta stop. I gotta stop the show. Y'all out there don't know that your car is a moving GPS? Hello? Is anybody home? Your car is a moving GPS. Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah, they know everywhere you go as soon as you get on that highway. Everywhere. It's true. It's true.
In the time before the murder. The ones at the bottom are the return. That's when they're returning to Jacksonville. This is showing you in these license plate readers, the Cruze on the top and the Impala on the bottom, hitting simultaneously on the same dates, 1809, 1809, 1947, 1945, 0341, 0342, at the same exact locations. These cars are traveling in unison because they are part of a team. This is the air.
They part of the hit team. They part of that team that you get in Call of Duty when you get enough chips. Yeah, you get about 3 million chips. You could be part of the Foolio hit team. How about that?
Airbnb that they stayed at on the night of the 22nd going into the morning of the 23rd. They didn't stay at a hotel that has a lobby with security cameras. They stayed at an Airbnb with one single Ring camera. Now, that's the front door on the right, or on the left, excuse me. You can see the Ring camera. You also can see that that lock has, like most Airbnbs, has a combination lock on it. That's the defendant when they arrive. And that day, she's the only one seen going through that door. You're going to hear in the evidence when she walks.
Oh, look at her. She looking all cute. She got her hair all laid back. Looking like she trying to impress her boyfriend. Like she's like on vacation. You know, that's what it looks like. But, you know, who's to say, you know? These hoodlums, they do go on a lot of vacation. I ain't gonna lie.
Walks in, this is from a video, someone inside saying, "My bad." So they're already inside, but she's the only one that goes through the door that day. The other ones, the evidence will show, this is back the back side of that same building, and down the back, and there's the back door. Must have entered, the evidence will show, through that entrance. Later that night at about 1:40, this is going now into June 23rd, 3 hours before the murder of Charles Jones, and less than an hour before they begin to hunt and stalk him at Teasers, where he's appearing. Her phone leaves the Airbnb and starts tracking by hitting off cell towers to a nearby McDonald's at 22nd and Fletcher, 2205 East Fletcher. You can see.
Oh, you know those Negroes gotta eat, you know. You know they gotta get that protein before they go on a good hit job, you know. She wanna go to McDonald's. I'd have kicked her out the car right then and there.
See in the upper right-hand corner, if you've never seen these before, that's the cell tower. This is the area of the cell tower, or the part of the antenna that's being utilized, and it falls within that area. And you can see there Fletcher, Advent Health. That is her in the passenger seat. There's not going to be any doubt about that in this case, because when she's later interviewed by police, she identifies herself. Because you're not really going to be able to see her face, but she says, "Yeah, I'm in that car. That's me." You can see the driver, Davion Murphy, he's lighting a cigar. You can see a little flame. You're going to watch on this video as they proceed through this drive-through. You just saw her turn to her left. She identifies Mr. Chance as being in the back seat of that car.
she placed herself at the scene. She basically did 75% of the prosecutor's job by placing herself at the scene. So even if her defense say, well, is that really her? There's no defense. She placed herself at the scene, which mean she placed herself in Tampa, which is verified through video. So she came and say, oh, that's not me in the video. All light-skinned girls look the same. Nah, she identified herself.
That's Davion Murphy in the driver's seat. They eventually drive off, but what you're going to find in the evidence is they buy a lot of food. This is not food for one person, it's a lot of food. And that's significant because later she tells the police that they went there because she was hungry and wanted something to eat. She also tells them she doesn't know who the driver is. You can't give an explanation for how he even came to be in that car or how she came to be in that car.
Yo, the police is ruthless. They got the cameras. They went in McDonald's and was like, yo, let me get the cameras from June such and such with the fat Mexican that was working at night. And they went and go get the cameras with the fat Mexican working at night. That's crazy.
Now, this is outside of teasers. As you saw, Teasers is a club that is on Nebraska here in the city of Tampa. So as you saw in the evidence of the shooting, the success of this conspiracy, this plot to murder, this attack hinged on the element of surprise. It absolutely hinged on that. And they leveraged the surprise that they had catching Mr. Jones off guard. And to have that type of surprise, they had to act with a coordinated knowledge, and they needed intelligence. They needed intel. They needed real-time information. Where is he? What's his route? They needed to know exactly where he was. They needed.
And that's where the light-skinned baddies come in. You know, all the light-skinned baddies out there that's setting guys up, that's where they come in. And Alicia, I mean, she fit the perfect, image. Perfect.
To know his positioning, his routes of travel, and like any good operation, the key to success is intelligence, critical intel. Now, to obtain intelligence like that and to do so surreptitiously, secretly, the surveillance has to be done in a surreptitious manner. Without that intelligence, without providing that real-time information to the assault team that's in the Impala, there would be no surprise, there would be no ambush of Mr. Jones, and this conspiracy would fail. It was that intelligence, that real-time surveillance and communication.
Yo, the prosecutor is calling them an assault team. Yo, when they trial come up, yo, they gonna get the death penalty for sure. You calling them it's like calling them the assassins. America gonna bury you.
The locations and routes that were provided by this defendant and her boyfriend Isaiah Chance, operating alone in that Chevy Cruze, while the other three conspirators, the assault team, were in the Impala. And they were doing everything they could to keep that Impala out of the sight of Mr. Jones and his friends. because Mr. Gaithright drove that Impala. It was registered to his mother, but he drove it all the time. He was notoriously known for driving that car.
Do y'all see what's going on here? Do y'all see where the prosecutor's trying to connect everything together? You see, he keeps saying the boyfriend. She was with the boyfriend, and he keep mentioning the other guys, because if she's found guilty in this case, the other cases are slam dunk. They might as well just plea out to death penalty. Like, it's nothing else they could do but to plea out. Which I'm not even gonna say if, they will win this case. And if y'all continue to watch it, I'm gonna show you why.
This was a coordinated team effort. In order to remain secretive and to not alert the target that they were conducting surveillance, they utilized several different techniques. Number one, they parked away from the club, and they utilized disguises that you heard some about yesterday in jury selection, about COVID masks. You're going to see in this video, June of 2024, they're both wearing COVID masks. Now, interestingly, because it was suggested yesterday that there's many reasons people could wear COVID masks, it's the only time in this evidence you will ever see a mask on this defendant's face. You won't see it on her face when she returns back to Jacksonville through an Uber. You won't see it on her face any other time when she's entering into the Airbnb around her 4 co-conspirators. But they kept their distance, and you'll see that in this video from the...
That's why she's taking notes. I don't know what she's writing, but that's why he got her. He got her. It's very circumstantial, yes, I get it, but he got her. Because that proves a kind of intent, you know. Okay, you don't wear a mask, you never wear a mask, but now you're wearing a mask. All of a sudden you're on vacation now. This one time you want to wear a mask, but they have video of you all the other days and you never wore a mask.
The victim and his entourage, they attempted to blend into the background. They needed to get close enough to be able to conduct surveillance, to gather the information they needed, but not so close that they would be detected. They had to avoid that. So first they used an unrecognizable car, and then they used disguises. But what you're going to find, and remember the law and principles, she doesn't even need to be there to be part of this conspiracy or to be a principal. She's there. She drives there with Mr. Chance, and they park in the north end of the parking lot of Teasers. And she doesn't stay in the car. She gets out and she walks with him. You're going to see that. You can kind of see their images in the upper right-hand corner. This is a video. I'm going to play it in a minute. You're going to see him hand her phone to her and her put her code into the phone to open it so they could utilize it to convey what they were watching and seeing. And again, they're out in the parking lot.
He got her again. I think one of her excuses was, he just grabs my phone and use it without telling me. Or it was something like, oh, I don't know where my phone was. They have her. They caught on videotape. She's handing her phone to her boyfriend after she puts the code in. Wow.
She was there with them in the field, shoulder to shoulder, in the thick of it. on the ground in the action.
Yo, he's saying some very powerful words. Y'all listen. He's saying words that could penetrate the jury's mind. She's right. What he said. She's right in the thick of it. She's on a battlefield. You know?
So they're wearing these masks, and it's not just like some costume mask. Obviously, a COVID mask is not going to necessarily draw that much attention, but it is going to hide their identities. Mr. Chance has a hoodie up on his head, along with the COVID mask. They are clearly trying to disguise themselves. But again, she didn't stay in the car, she got out. And there was a reason for that. Because instead of allowing Mr. Chance to walk around in this dark parking lot with a hood on and a mask on by himself,
Objection, Your Honor. Argument.
walking.
Overruled, go ahead. Again, this is opening statement, members of the jury. It's just a chance for the lawyers to tell you what evidence they believe will be admitted in this case. But again, it is not the actual evidence, all right? Go ahead.
Okay, that is definitely a no-no in court. You never interrupt the opening statement, and you do not interrupt the ending statement. This is the time everybody stay silent, because what they're doing, they give you the blueprint of what you're going to witness during the trial. That's part of the opening statement. It's a statement that's supposed to leave a mark, and it's kind of like the subject of the paragraph. You know, they give you an understanding of what you're about to understand.
But instead of allowing him to walk around in that parking lot by himself, a single man with a disguise on, she went with him, because now they would be a couple. They would fit in. They would be non-threatening. So she acted not only helping in conducting the
Objection, Your Honor.
reconnaissance,
Argument.
Overruled, go ahead.
she acted as camouflage. She acted as a disguise in and of herself. Now they're a couple. Now it's not just a single person who may be seen as threatening or may draw attention. This is just a couple walking around in the parking lot in a club where a lot of people are milling about in groups. In groups. She provided that by being there in the field with them. She provided that cover and that camouflage. And she provided, obviously, a second set of eyes to watch. Both of them surveilling and watching Mr. Jones and his entourage. And then, as I just mentioned a minute ago, she provided the comms, the communication, her phone. Now, you're going to see in the evidence, Mr. Chance's phone is tracking all the way to Tampa from Jacksonville. And it's tracking at that Airbnb. It's hitting off a nearby tower, but it's her phone they're utilizing, you will find in the evidence. Now, you're going to find in this evidence that they...
Yo, y'all hear how he ripping through them papers? This is a serious prosecutor. She's in some deep doo-doo. And she don't have the money to have all type of paid witnesses and bring all type of, professionals to counteract what the state is doing. All her lawyers are there to do is to try to manipulate the jury and get at least two dummies.
They were not utilizing the calling function of that iPhone or even its Apple text message app, the two ways that most people communicate. They're using some kind of a special application to be able to communicate that's undetected. But at some point, they have to break radio silence because the person they're communicating with, Sean Gathright, is not answering. He's not picking up his phone, so they actually send a text through the Apple text message app Pick up your phone. And that's right around this time, just a few minutes later.
Did y'all just hear what the prosecutor just said? They had a device to deceive their communication electronically. The person wasn't pick up the phone. Remind you, these people are going to go murder somebody. They're not going on a picnic, okay? They text him. They text Gathright and say, guess what they say? Pick up your phone. So now the police have a record of where they are and the location. Wow.
You see the defendant opening the phone for Mr. Chance, and you can see their COVID masks. One is wearing the blue COVID mask that was so prevalent in 2020, 2021, and she's wearing a black one. This is Mr. Jones and his friends arriving at that club. And you can see the time there, 2:22 in the morning. That, again, is several minutes off, but it's about that time. 2:21.
It's some clear video, right? Like, this is like I think this is 8K. I don't think this is 4K. The video, look, you can see the cracks. You can see the cracks on the concrete. You can see the cracks. That's a clear camera. I mean, and them two, they, to me, I don't know. Maybe y'all may disagree. They look so obvious. Like, they just, like, she basically went to Florida to stalk somebody. This is stalking. She's stalking Julio Foolio. Everything matches up. Everything matches up from when he put a post of when his birthday party and the same day she called and asked for Airbnb to when they arrived to the day that's his party. Now they stalking him at this random spot, Teasers, which is the spot on the flyer. They got COVID masks, he masked up, and they just looking so obvious, you know?
And there they are, and you see Mr. Chance on the phone in the parking lot at the same place. Now later, after Mr. Jones has gone into the club and been in there and done his thing in there with his friends, he's now leaving. You can see Mr. Edwards' head up there. It's 2:46 or about that time. 2:46. 59, almost 2:47. And what happens at 2:47? This car up here in the upper right, that's on that road, which is Nebraska, is pulling in to the north end of the parking lot of Teasers. This was an extremely well-orchestrated conspiracy, coordinated. He's walking out of the club on the other side of the club, and out of the blue, the assault team vehicle is pulling into the club. That is tight surveillance and intel. Now, in this photograph,
in the parking lot, when she handed him the phone, that's when he notified them and said he's here. That's why it matches up the same time the assault team is coming. What a vacation is this?
it's 2:48. This is Mr. Jones' Charger. You can see the lights starting to light up because they're already inside the car and they're getting ready to leave. That's the Impala that has come in on the north side, gone down the west side, and is now passing in the front. Out of necessity, passing in the front. So this is just an aerial view of teasers. You can see Nebraska over here to the right. You can see this little road here, South Castle. The defendant and her boyfriend come and they park here in the north end. They get out, they walk around, they come around this way, they stand here. The entrance is over here. So they're way down here. You kind of saw that in that photograph, which would put them down there to the west. They conduct surveillance. They walk back up here. They get back into the car. And then they drive out onto East Castle. The assault team comes in the red arrows, comes in on the north end. We just watched it. They come down this way and they go down Castle. And as you can see, before I move on, a lot of folks standing around out there. A lot of people. Potential witnesses. Now, from there, when Mr. Jones leaves with his friends in the 3 cars, they travel to another club, an after party. This is Truth 18 on Bush.
So the assault team technically could have tried to take him out at the first spot, but they diverted the mission. Yeah, they diverted the mission. It probably was too much people outside. It's something made them divert this mission.
The Dodge Charger, the Hyundai, and you'll see the Altima come up. Down here to the lower left, you can see some of the party, Miss Bentley, Miss Albritton, Tafa McRae in the light blue. And up on the top there where you just saw the flashing lights, it's Armani Turner and Miss Randolph getting out of the Hyundai. And there's Mr. Jones in the lower right with the red hat, very recognizable. So they go up to the second floor of this strip mall where this club is. That's Gino Norris in front walking up, his friend. And again, this is for an after party. And you'll see Mr.
Cameras are so clear. I mean, somebody that, I know he ain't the most famous. I know he not the most famous and the most richest, but come on, man. You couldn't get a security? And why are you going to these hole in the wall spots? Like, these are hole in the wall spots. Like, why are you doing that to yourself? And why you don't have security? You should have security. You should have security. As much shit talk you do, at least a bulletproof car. Wow.
Mr. Jones will start live streaming with his phone. Again, advertising his location. This is from another location, and you can see the Chevy Cruze up in the top part of the screen. And now, in the top of the screen, the hooded individual, the defendant, and Mr. Chance conducting more surveillance. Walking as a couple, so they're not threatening, they don't stand out. With her phone to his ear.
This is the second time they caught her stalking Foolio. This is the second time. What jury would not look at this and be like, oh, nah, it's just coincidence. It's just coincidence.
And now they walk back again past the club. Mr. Jones and his friends leaving. The Impala on the top of the screen. That's across the street.
Wow. 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 It's so amazing the great job that they doing such a good, the prosecutor's doing a good job. And this is just the opening statement. He's making a statement. This is what you call an opening statement. He making it known what he's saying and what he thinks she did is 100% correct. No ifs, ands, and what's about it. Wow. We'll continue to the next one. This is just day one. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. See you on the next one.